Okie dokie. Spawning in the bottom left position of the map, that is Yansu. Yansu is the blue Protoss player from Team XMG, ToD. And his opponent in the northeast position, this man, not more than 12 hours ago, took the two final games of the GSTL for Axiom Acer versus Azubu, and now he's here. Goodness knows how tired this guy must be. Maybe he just woke up. From Team Acer, it is INnoVation. And man, did he play some fantastic Terran versus Terran. But that also brings me to my next point, which is that if INnoVation wins this series, if INnoVation wins here against ToD, he will play against 4GG in a TVT, which he was playing earlier this morning, which went quite well for him. But also, 4GG's in his group for DreamHack Winter, which is just a cool side note, as far as just what we're going to see. But ToD, where does he go with this as the Reaper expand begins? He's got a gateway on the way, pretty normally timed. This isn't an early gateway. I'm wondering if we're going to see him do any type of early proxy play. ToD is a funny guy. As you guys know, he did a lot of casting for WCS Premier League. I casted with him at Intel Extreme Masters New York, and he is very, very smart. And he's one of those players that can be very patient, but also impatient at times. And I wouldn't really put it past him to try any type of strategy, but from what it looks like, it's just going to be very, very standard macro-oriented play so far, with just one gas geyser being mined from. So Cybernetic score will start. The SCV goes out to scout, and the Reaper gets queued up. I think if you're looking at it from ToD's perspective, you don't want to try to win with maybe something one basey versus INnoVation. He is arguably one of the top Terrans in the world right now, maybe alongside players like Bomber. And of course, I guess we haven't seen MVP play in a while, but this Zealot's gonna be queued up. Basically, the goal here is to not be Engineering Bay blocked. So we might see him cancel the Zealot and try to get the Nexus up, and he will cancel the Zealot. The net probe goes there. INnoVation, no time to try to block that Nexus. His SCV gets tased a few times, but now the Reaper moves out. Mothership Core is on the way, though. And this early Mothership Core from ToD, this is the staple in any Protoss versus Terran opening. You just want this thing as fast as possible, and then suddenly dying to all-ins becomes really, really difficult. And there it is. This probe's dancing around. Reaper won't be able to scout out too much just yet. He has confirmed that there's only been one gas mined, which is nice for him. The second gas is going to complete soon. But he's going to just jump down towards the natural. And ToD didn't really see anything too super crazy, but he's also not really scouted. But knowing that it's a Reaper, INnoVation is a player that, for all intents and purposes, guys, if ToD did literally 5 seconds, if he only studied 5 seconds of INnoVation's TVP, he would know it's a Reaper. INnoVation opens Reaper almost every single game, even on maps like Whirlwind. But his follow-up, 2 barracks, and now getting up probably just a tech level on that as soon as it's done. Yeah, and that's it. He's just sticking to it, doing very, very normal play. Orbital commands on the way. ToD, though, is going to go into double forge. The Reaper's going to run in. INnoVation, is he going to see this? Reaper's going to move through. INnoVation, he's getting the scout off. He says, okay, you're going double forge. So this is like, some Protoss players will, you'll go in here and you'll try to scout what the Protoss is doing. And you'll see a Robo and a Forge. And that's as standard as it gets. Sometimes you'll see a Twilight Council. And you'll say, okay, this could be a Fast Blink Stalker player, DTs. And if you see Twilight Council and a Forge, you're like, maybe some sort of charge lot based play. But seeing double Forge, you have to go for a Twilight Council to get additional upgrades. What does INnoVation do to try to punish this? He has some Marines out on the field. A Marauder moving out as well. And this is a very standard shove that INnoVation likes to do, mostly to force out the Photon Overcharge. And with this Mothership Core, building up lots of energy, I mean, just a Stalker and a Sentry are not enough to defeat this army. So, with another Sentry coming out, INnoVation will have an opportunity to deal some damage, but Photon Overcharge should basically be ToD's way of saying, you're Terran, you cannot attack me before you have Medivacs and Stim. I have Photon Overcharge, it simply doesn't work. So, INnoVation's just going to keep balling up his forces. Could move out any second now. He has factories on the way, as well as the Engineering Bay. But when does he move out? That is the question. That is the question. Now he's coming. He waited for 2 Marauders, which is interesting. He usually pushes with 1. Twilight Council's on the way. You have to get a Twilight Council to get additional upgrades. And there's no reason why you wouldn't want to get fast 2-2. 1-1 doesn't do anything. Hallucinated Oracle is immediately snapped. There's the Photon Overcharge. And that's basically ToD saying, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So gas being mined in a natural expansion now for INnoVation. He's getting a little bit of extra juice going as his stim comes closer and closer to completion. And he's really just been rallying units out here, just holding a very aggressive stance against the XMG Protoss player. Now, ToD's beginning to add on a lot of gateways. This is one of those funny situations where a Protoss player can really start to explode out with 2-2. And now we're starting to see that come here. The +2 attack is on the way. We should see that armor upgrade start now as well. And there's the chrono on that. So here's what ToD can do with this setup that he has. He can just get charged and go for a super fast charge lot all in. Maybe add on a Templar Archives to spend his gas on some Archons. But INnoVation actually presses the front. Photon Overcharge gets activated, and he does try to force field some units in, but not able to really grab too much. We look at the resources lost tab. INnoVation's lost a handful of units. Looks like just maybe 2 Marauders or something like that. Nothing serious. And Immortals being produced. So I'm wondering if ToD's going to just focus on Immortals and do a very big Immortal Zealot-based attack. Use the Immortals to blow down any type of defensive setup that INnoVation has, or if he's just trying to be defensive with the Immortals, because there's the charge. And honestly, I would like to see a Templar Archives for some sort of big 2-base attack, but the Medevacs are moving out for INnoVation. He started his 3rd base, and ToD, I mean, you can tell he's a little bit worried about what could come from INnoVation. He has a cannon in his mineral line in the natural. He's keeping his eyes open for any possible attack. He's playing as turtly as you really can as a Protoss. He just absolutely does not want to take any type of damage the first 10 minutes of the game. And now the 10-minute mark has passed. Templar Archives is on the way. The Medevacs are being sent over to the main base. 2 Medevacs as ToD sends a Zealot out to scout. And INnoVation still has a lot of units up the front. Now, the Photon Overcharges that he's forced to be burned have caused this Mothership Core to not really have too much energy. So here he comes into the main base, picks off a pylon, is going to stim and run down towards that main Nexus, looking to get probes. And that's exactly what he's going to do, targeting down the probes while also getting scouting information. If he were to kill these Forges, that would probably be one of the biggest scores of his life as he presses into the natural as well. The Zealot's taking some damage. The Guardian Shield activates, but without that 2-2, it's hard to do damage. Picks off one of the Medevacs very nicely. And he's blasted through all these Zealots. His Sentry's going to get killed. Another Zealot dies. These probes are exposed. And INnoVation, is he still the Medevac in the main? Okay, not just yet. That cannon will actually find itself doing a good job of defending against this next push. But INnoVation still just stepping up, trying to snipe what units will load up in the Medevac and boost away. His 3rd command center has completed. Charges on 2-2 is done for ToD. INnoVation, what are his upgrades? Just +1 attack. So now ToD has a serious upgrade lead. But INnoVation is basically saying, yeah, I'm going to sit outside your base, and if you try to leave, I will just attack you, you know. It's like an overly attached Terran player. And the Zealots get warped into defend. The +2 is nice, but there's not enough of these Zealots. And this is a great choke point for INnoVation. Just take down all of these Zealots. The feedback's not enough either. He's got a lot of bio just churning away here. And the Zealots, they die hard, but he's managed to just do more and more damage to ToD. He's picked off only 7 probes so far this game, but the resources that he's taking out are also very nice. And he might be able to unpower the Forges. I do like focusing this pylon. Unpowers the Forges. Not able to get the Templar Archives, so he can still research Storm. But can he really afford to? Ooh, nice Medevac pick off for ToD. The army looks... I mean, it's pretty meager for ToD. He's had a difficult time keeping his army together. And while he's only lost, like I said, 7 probes, INnoVation has a huge supply lead because he's kept killing the army of ToD away. Now, Immortals, great versus Marauders. Archons, fantastic versus Marines, as well as the Zealots. But INnoVation just being relentless with how he just pokes in again and again and again and again. And he's basically saying, yeah, ToD, don't try to leave your base, because if you do, I will be there waiting for you. It's like a romance song, except murder. 2 Templar being warped in, trying to get the feedbacks on these Medevacs, and that's exactly what he's going to get. No energy left. His Medevacs are actually very low. The Archon can almost the Archon will 2-shot these Medevacs if he can get close enough. The Stalker trying to get in position, but the Zealots can't really do much with the mineral line. They're blocked in. The Immortal shows up, really going to help hammer down these Marauders, and that's enough to start pushing it back a little bit, but there's just too much here. The Immortal getting very, very low, and it looks like ToD might be able to get No, okay. Wow. Those Marines walk through the meat grinder. So ToD does save this Immortal very, very nicely. It's got 5 kills. INnoVation just stims and he's looking for a third base. He's got red in his eyes, but nothing is there to kill. Ghost Academy coming in for the Acer Terran player. Zealot harass. INnoVation says, nice try. And the medevacs are going to head home, either to be repaired, healed, or, you know, just go party it up. Mobius reactors on the way. Robotics base. So ToD's saying, I'm not even going to research Storm because I know I can't afford to just go into that. I know you're going to start making Ghosts to kind of counter me. And INnoVation just has the supercharged setup. He's got so much stuff for production. He's kept his factory at home. He hasn't used it to scout or anything, but he's mining all the gas in his natural as well so that he can just continue to push out the upgrades. The 2-2 is coming in. ToD, despite opening up at the double forge, never got to 3-3. He hasn't been able to afford it because of how much he's needed to invest in defensive units. So here comes INnoVation. He doesn't have any ghosts just yet, but he can always lift up with the medevacs and just run away if things get hairy at all. So 2 medevacs actually waiting to jump into the natural as well. He wants to bait out the Protoss army. What a smart maneuver. If he can get him to step out too far, the medevacs can come in. He can pick off probes left and right. And INnoVation moves the main force back. Okay, so he's got ghosts continuing to come out. The robotics bay is done, but we don't see any Colossi yet. And this Marine is trying to win the Olympics with running here. And he will. He makes it back. And this Marine gets picked off. So ToD could try to take the third base, but this is an absurdly late third. ToD has been held back so long by the Acer Terran player, and it's been a huge pain in his side. Hallucinates a Colossus to try to scare INnoVation away, and that will be enough for now. I mean, this force is still rather potent with the 2-2. As INnoVation finishes up, though, that's where it gets dicey. There, the drop cancels that third base. And ToD, at what point do you just say, screw it, I'm going to just attack and hope for the best? Versus INnoVation, that's probably never. But he's hanging tight. He's still got a very powerful army. Gets some nice force fields to clean up INnoVation's Marine Marauder Force. Actually, a really nice catch for ToD. But he's still down on supply, and the Marine Marauder Force is going to try to run inside of the natural. These Templar are here, but there's no storms. Feedback on the medevacs. Archon, just a lightning hand into that medevac, will pick one up. And he's actually starting to press back a little bit. He's forced INnoVation away for now. That Archon would really love to get the medevac. Oh, it's so close. 1 hit point. Will he get it? No. The kiss of death is not for ToD today, as he does start the third Nexus once again in the slightly upper position. And let's see what he can do here. +3 attack has started for INnoVation. INnoVation is officially going to be ahead on upgrades versus the Protoss player. Something very uncommon in Terran versus Protoss, largely because the Protoss has access to Chrono Boost. And as INnoVation gets his planetary at the 4th base, he's also going to secure himself a ginormous economic lead. But ToD, I guess he's counting on his Colossi not being spotted. Obviously, he had one earlier that was hallucinated, but it didn't really force anything out. So what can he really do with this? That's the money question. Blink being researched, the Colossus range. If he can catch this army off guard and use the Colossi to shred it. But INnoVation's getting ready to just run up this ramp. EMPs, the Archons, everything getting blanketed in the EMPs. And he's just going to blow through a large number of ToD's units. But the Colossi really doing a great amount of work, picking off 7 or so units, get some feedbacks off. But there's just so much here for the Terran player. ToD does not have enough. The Colossi are retreating, stutter setting back as much as they can, but the Marauders get on top of them. One falls, the second very low. He will pick that off the third. And final Colossus that stands is going to topple. GG. INnoVation takes game number 1 versus XMG's ToD.